Good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another thrilling vodcast. Big shiny tones. Yeah, it's my new term.
Vodcast. I like it.
Podcast. There's a word for it. I'm pretty sure podcast is a video thing. I don't know. But anyway, big shiny tones. Leonard J over here.
Jonathan Lindsay here.
Tapestry music. And today we're going to go through the news. We're going to go through our unpopular opinions. Yep. And we're going to share some rig stuff over here. So
we're going to put my pedal board on trial.
Oh my goodness, pedal board!
I can't wait.
Now, you can actually submit your rigs. You can submit your unpopular ideas. Don't show me that pedal board yet. Mitchell just put up the.
Got to keep it as a surprise.
I want to be surprised when I see it. All right.
Exactly.
So before we get into the excitement of everything, let's get into the news. What's going on?
News. Yes. All right. Well, top of the news. First thing, we need a shout out to our friends at Anderton's Music.
Oh.
They hit 1 million subscribers.
1 million subscribers. Wow, that's pretty.
They've been working on that for quite a while, and they finally hit it, and they gave away the Klon pedal that's been up for grabs.
Oh, really?
Like a real one.
A real Klon pedal.
Real Klon.
See, how did I miss all of this? You know what, God,
it's been building for quite a while.
They've worked so hard. They worked their buns off. Actually, I already thought they were at 1 million subscribers, to be honest with you.
Well, there you go.
They've been doing it for so long. Well, congratulations, Andy.
There you go. Way to go.
Where are they? What part of England are they?
I have no idea.
Well, whatever it is, fantastic. Look at that.
All right, moving on. Maybe a little follow-up. So if you caught our last episode, we talked about the new Boss PX1. And that one's proven to be quite a controversial pedal.
Oh, yeah?
As we expected it would be. A lot of people liking it, a lot of people not liking it. And I think it's not so much the pedal itself, but it's I think what people are kind of wrapped up in is the cloud downloading subscription sort of thing.
That's right. Because I think when they launched this, they also started talking about this thing called like the Rolling Cloud or something like that.
And I don't think the Rolling Cloud is brand new, but for guitar players, it's kind of new because it's got all these modular synths and stuff you can download to your workstation. So you can have plugins. And so it's predominantly plugins, but now the new PX1 is tied to that. And they give you a free subscription, like a 6 months trial subscription to the ultimate package on there. But it's a little bit of a misnomer because to use the pedal, you don't need that subscription.
It comes with pedals built in.
It comes with pedals built in. You do need to sign up for like the free subscription. And the free subscription still gives you the app and it still lets you buy additional pedal downloads for it.
So you would need the app to get pedal downloads.
Yeah, right? But you don't need to pay for the subscription service.
Well, I get that. It's kind of what's it, contentious, the idea.
Yeah.
Like just the word cloud, it just gets people all riled up because there's so much subscription services already. So if there's even any mention of it, especially in guitar where that's not a word that we really like, then we don't really use. So hearing that in the context of gear, I find that we get into our gear to get away from that kind of stuff. So I can see why people are getting a little bit freaked out over it.
Yeah. And I did get to spend some time with the pedal yesterday checking it out. And it was both fun and frustrating at the same time.
What was frustrating about it?
It's one of those kind of like fun-strating pedals. Because it's like you want to just get in and play with it, but you've got hoops to jump through in terms of like downloading things. Using the app is pretty easy. Using the pedal, because they've got such a small interface on there with just 3 knobs, there's menus in there. It's a little difficult to just like plug it in and start using it and navigate through those different screens there. So it's one of those things where you want to read the manual.
Is it better to use the app than to actually use it on the pedal?
Well, from my limited time with it, using the app, switching pedals is really fast. But on the actual pedal itself, you go into those menus, there's a lot that you can do. Like there's a lot under the hood, kind of like a real big multi-effects, but getting to it because you've only got 3 knobs. It's like, what is it? And all the knobs.
Is it one that's like you got to hold it and then turn
it's like
and
hold and turn
click,
and press
double
and all
click.
these things. So it's, for some people, it's a total non-starter.
Like the more simple they try to make it, the more complicated it gets, kind of.
It is. It's almost too simple. If it had more buttons, it would be a little easier to use. But interesting to see how that one's going to
and how it's going to evolve.
Yeah.
But I do see, I saw a lot of people kind of making some fun of it because it's very similar to IK Multimedia. The iStomp was a pedal that came out that does kind of the similar thing. There was another one.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was thinking that was Digitech, but it was IK Multimedia.
IK Multimedia.
Right.
See, I looked it up after you mentioned it last show. I was like, I should check. There it is, the Ice Stomp. Yeah,
it wasn't Digitech.
And then
sorry, Digitech.
There was New Neighbor. Oh no, it's the Digitech Ice Stomp.
Yeah, that was the one. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, there you go. So that's what it was. Yeah. And so, and then there was a New Neighbor effects, which is one I had. It was, I forget. I think it was called. Was it? They had this one pedal and had 3 knobs on it, and you could make it either a delay or a chord. You'd actually have to plug it into your computer to change what pedal it was. And, a lot of people, the Ice Stomp didn't do too well, and, the Boss might do it. I think the difference between the Boss and the Ice Stomp is that I think Boss has that consumer trust,
Oh, for sure.
And
the classic pedals that they've developed over time.
Exactly. And it looks, like the Ice Stomp kind of looks like, it looks very different than the typical kind of.
It didn't have a screen on it either, right?
Yeah, it didn't have a screen.
That's the nice thing. The Boss one's got the screen. So if you change pedals, change algorithms, it tells you what it is on the screen there.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
And it looks like a Boss pedal. It looks like a Boss pedal. And I think there is a trust in it. Do you think it's going to be a big seller?
Time will tell. I don't know. I'm curious to see how that one does. It's an interesting one for sure. It's not quite a big multi-effects, not quite a single pedal. It's kind of in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. So
I really do feel like when it comes to the digital stuff, I like I want you to go all in there. So I like to have some the functionality, and then when we go analog, keep it nice, keep it simple.
Yeah.
So that's my view on that.
Cool. Well, so moving on in the news, speaking of analog pedals, brand new pedal was just dropped yesterday as of filming. MXR put out a new Randy Rhoads Distortion Plus.
Distortion Plus.
It's the Concord edition.
What's Concord?
Well, so he had a guitar, a Jackson, the Randy Rhoads model. It's like the V, but it's like the offset V that he played with Ozzy, and came in. He had in polka dot versions, and they did a limited edition polka dot Distortion Plus last year, and that one sold really well. So they thought, okay, let's do another one
for another one of the guitars
because they sold so many of them. But this one's the Concord edition, so it's based off the graphics of his Concord Jackson, which looks really cool. I think like all the gold and then the pinstriping, and it's sort of like
it is a pretty color. I love that.
It's pretty cool.
Is there anything different in the actual way it sounds and the circuit layout, or is it honest,
I don't
just
think
a Distortion Plus?
I think it's the same as the yellow Distortion Plus.
It looks nice. Looks cool. I'm not going to say it doesn't look nice. That's
I like the on the bottom of the pedal, the RR there. It's like the Rolls Royce logo.
I see that. Sneaky cat. Look at that. See,
they might get in trouble for that one.
I like the gold on the.
That's the guitar. Actually, you can see. Scroll back up there, Mitch.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Way off on the left there. It's in the background. There's the guitar. Yeah.
Classy
looking guitar.
What do you think of the Distortion Plus? That's one of those most super legendary guitar pedals.
It's one that I haven't used a whole lot, to be honest. I've tried it out. Like the yellow one, I've tried it and gone, okay, it sounds like a vintagey kind of drive to me. But I've never tried it in the way that Randy Rhoads had. I assume it was just boosting a JCM 800.
Yeah, really getting it to that next level. I remember I was super excited to try a Distortion Plus because, when you're a kid and, you read all this stuff and everyone uses it and oh man, if I get this will be the secret to unlock the tone. I remember plugging it in going what is this? It's really dry and it's it doesn't sound like what the album sounds like in my head.
Because you don't have a JCM 800
because you can't really just do the thing with it.
Yeah.
But actually, as I've gotten older, I kind of appreciate it a little bit more. It's a really cool box, actually, a little Distortion Plus.
Yeah, very cool. So that's a neat one that's just hit the market. Also new looking things. So Yamaha, the RevStar series. Of course. Yeah, you're a fan of the RevStars.
Yeah, big RevStar user.
Their standard series, so the mid-tier ones, they've got some brand new colors that are dropping really quickly. In fact, I think by the time this is on air, they should be out there. I sure hope so, because otherwise we're going to get in trouble.
It's a little bit of a flex to drop it a little early.
Let's take a peek here.
I've seen. Have you seen them yet? Well, because I have seen the colors they were thinking, but I don't know if they're actually the colors that they picked. So I don't actually know.
Yeah, there's only a few of them.
I've seen colors that they have in the works, but I actually haven't seen.
So there's two, the humbucker ones.
Oh yeah.
And they're doing Sonic Blue.
Oh, Sonic Blue.
The one on the right there.
See, I'm colorblind. So
of course.
So I actually saw that as Seafoam Green.
It's not far off. It's not far off. Yeah, for sure. And it's got the pinstripe. And then, so this will be a funny one. So the one on the left is actually green.
I thought that was gray.
I think it's gray too.
Yeah, it's super gray, right?
It's some sort of green. I forget what it's actually called, but they did that on some of their basses, and it really looks more gray than green.
I like the way that's cool.
But that's got the dark stripe on there, which is pretty cool. And then for the P90 models,
let's see what we got here. Oh,
they're also doing the Sonic Blue. They're doing the vintage white. And transparent red that looks really nice too.
Transparent red. That's the one that I've been waiting for.
Yeah, that one looks pretty cool.
They had that on the older Rev Stars, and I always thought the transparent red always just looks super smart. It's a cool look.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a little lighter than I remember it being, actually. Like the old
They call it fired red.
Oh, fired. Wait, let me see that. Go back down to those P90s. There's so yeah, vintage white and the Sonic Blue. So yeah, so there is Sonic Blue on both.
Blue on both. Yeah, The P90, you get the tailpiece. On the humbucker, you get the racing stripes. So
yeah. What do you think of the racing stripe on the Rev Star? Like the Rev?
I think it looks cool. Yeah.
I like the P90 look. Like the big tailpiece.
Well, yeah, because it's got the tailpiece. If you put the pinstripe and the tailpiece, it's
too much. It's too much. And I do like it when they're more like nice and subtle with the stripe. You know what I mean? Like I remember the first Rev Stars that they made. The pinstripes were like, if you looked at that previous one, it was like black stripes, right, on the gray. The previous one, it was like they would go matte. So it'd be like a shiny guitar, and there'd be like a matte, like two matte stripes. So if you kind of got it in the right light, you can see it. I thought that was super class.
Yeah, it's cool. I love seeing that. Like you'll see like cars. I saw a picture the other day of a Porsche, and it was like matte green or something like that. But then all the rims and everything was like shiny gold, and so you get the shine, and you get the matte, and it's a cool contrast.
It's really,
for sure.
really nice. But yeah, I don't. It's neat too that the P90 version of the Rev Star and the humbuckers they definitely seem to have their own identity. You know what I mean? Like the P90s kind of have more of a George Jetson kind of vibe. Like kind of they seem a little bit more Gretschy. And then you go up to the other ones, and it definitely has more Gibson-y kind of vibe. So it's nice that it's just really the tailpiece and then the pickups they use, and then they typically don't put the racing stripes. The racing stripes are more for the humbucker one. So it's just subtle differences that make them a little bit different. That's really cool. I like it.
Humbuckers go faster. That's why.
Oh, really? They sell more of the humbuckers?
No, they just go faster.
Oh, they go faster.
That's why they have the racing stripes.
I thought you were talking about selling. What sells more, the P90 or the humbucker?
It's pretty split, actually.
Really?
Although, in general, P90 guitars do not sell anywhere near as well as humbucker guitars, but with the Rev Stars, the P90s are really cool, and we sell a lot of the P90 ones. Yeah. It's a popular one, which is cool.
I did a video on my page right when these were launched.
Yeah, I remember.
And it was like kind of the humbucker versus the P90. And I will say overwhelmingly the people that have commented are like the P90 is the one that they like.
It's cool.
Yeah. And it's just it's because it's just the form factor. It makes it look, I think people go for the Rev Star because it is like, it's not a Strat.
Yeah.
It's not a Les Paul.
It's different, for sure.
It's different, and the P90 is that one extra thing. Like, yes, they're P90 Les Pauls, but when you think Les Paul, we're thinking humbuckers typically in our head.
Yeah, totally.
So it's just kind of that one extra step that gives it its own little identity, I think. Yeah.
And you've got a custom Rev Star coming, don't you?
Well, in theory, it was actually it kind of got lost in the mix. I actually went down to California earlier in the summer, and they actually had it like in the raw. So it's happening. I just don't know.
The tree's been cut.
The tree has been cut. The carbon fiber has been epoxied. So I'm curious to see. I'm really excited to see that thing come out. And I have a couple little tricks up my sleeve for what I'm doing with that.
Well, you have to do a little show and tell when you get it.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Cool.
About that. Beautiful.
All right. Well, I think that's probably enough for the news for today.
Oh, wow. That's it? A nice short little news segment today.
Looking at the clock, they're trying to keep things on timely fashion.
Keep it nice
here.
and speedy. Yeah. Okay, all right.
Exactly.
So where does that bring us? I think our next segment is...
actually a good segue to the next segment, talking about Les Pauls and all that, and different types of pickups. So we're on to the unpopular opinion segment here.
Yeah.
And so today, the unpopular opinion that we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about Norlin Era Gibson.
Okay, so what's your unpopular opinion about Norlin Era Gibsons?
I mean, everybody tends to hate on Norlin Era Gibson.
Yes.
And there are some arguments for that, but I'm of the opinion that the Norlin era is no worse than any other era of Gibson guitars.
Pray tell, pray tell, because people really, a lot of the people really dislike the Norlin guitars.
They do, and there were certainly some dogs in there, but any era of Gibson, they've had their issues with quality control. I mean, I think guitar players probably love Gibson more than any other guitars out there, and love to just rag on Gibson more than anything else, because it's one of those things where we just love their guitars, and we just want them to make those guitars well, and just don't screw around with them, just make them really good. And it doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to do, but somehow Gibson manages to always screw it up.
I don't know. Well, for the uninitiated out there, Norlin era, what is a Norlin era?
So Norlin era is that period between 1969 and goes actually all the way to 1986. I didn't even realize that. It was like long time.
I actually thought it was longer. I thought it was like early 90s. So there you go. I learned something.
Yeah, it had already been sold to good old, what's his name, Henry at that point. But you know what's really interesting? I was reading up on this. So when got sold from the original, or the owner at the time was CMI, which is Chicago Musical Instrument Corporation. They sold it to this company called Norlin, but that company was actually the same company. It was CMI, and then another company called ECL, which is an Ecuadorian company that had a brewery in Panama or something like that. So I don't know. They had money to spend. Brewery, I don't know.
Yeah.
But so it was actually half the ownership was still the original or the previous ownership of Gibson, which is really weird. So it didn't like fully change hands.
Like a soft reboot.
Yeah, something like that. But what everybody takes issue is, and the exact same thing happened with CBS when they took over Fender, is they're like, okay, we're going to start manufacturing things more efficient now. So we're going to start, doing things faster, what people think of as cutting corners and introducing new sort of things. They didn't want to waste as much wood, which was also one of the controversial things, because they started doing multiple piece necks, multiple piece bodies. That's probably the most contentious one. Some of the hardware changes and things like that. But there's also a lot of good that came out of that time as well. And particularly, it seems like the worst offenders are in that mid time there, like the early 70s to mid 70s. If you get the early era, 69, 70, before they had a chance to do too many changes, not a whole lot changed. And also when you get a little bit later in that period, towards the late 70s and early 80s, there was a lot of really great guitarists coming out then too. And they had, what's his name? Tim Shaw, was doing pickups back then as well. I actually have an ES335 myself from 82, which comes from that era, of course, and that's got Tim Shaw designed pickups. And everybody's all over the Tim Shaw pickups these days because they're pretty fantastic for sure. But, if you look at every other era of Gibson, they've had the QC problems. They've had like people in the 70s were complaining that the binding wasn't scraped properly, and
to this day there's still
yeah. Well, that's my point. I was selling Gibsons, for the last like 10 years, and you've got like, what was it? I think it was around 2018, like binding problems, constant binding problems. And 2016, I think, was it, when 2015 they changed it, they put like the holograms on there and the wide nut, and everybody just hated the guitars. So it just seems like Gibson, every era, they kind of go through these waves of ups and downs.
Yeah, there's
of
these
quality.
sweet spots, and then there's these lows. Because I love Gibson guitars, like a really good Gibson guitar. But
who doesn't?
You talk to anybody, like, I'm gonna get a 335. There's always like, you gotta try a couple. You got to figure out. I remember, so this year, I decided to finally get myself a J45.
Oh, no
That
way.
was my dream guitar, because Buddy Holly played a J45, and that was like my... But
Sure,
I was going to wait till I turned 45 until I got a J45. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it right now. And it was the same thing. I went out and I tried... I went to Long McQuaid, which is like the Canadian Guitar Center, right? And then I went to pretty much every single Long McQuaid in Vancouver, trying to find... And to be honest with you, like I don't want to. I think my endorsement for Gibson is going to be thrown up in the air here, but I could not find a good one.
Really?
There was
how many did you try?
Probably about 20.
20.
I went to almost every single one in the Lower Mainland, and there was always something weird about them. Like like with the tops. Usually when you're getting a top, you want like a nice straight grain. I saw ones that they were like parentheses. You know, I've seen,
Whoa.
like, you know, one would have a weird binding. One had a pickup that didn't work. One had a nut that there was a chunk missing out of the nut. One had like, there was always something. And I feel like maybe 2024 wasn't like the year for the J45 or something like that. But yeah, when you find a great one, it's incredible.
It's a matter of finding that great one. And you will eventually if you try enough of them. But I think at any era of Gibson, you have to try a whole bunch of them. And out of the 10 that you try, there's going to be probably like 8 or 9 that are not all that great. And then you find that one that's just magic.
Just magic, yeah.
And whether that's from the 1970s, whether it's from the 1990s, from the 2000s, you know, even from the 50s, you know, they couldn't have all been great guitars. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just, there's going to be some that are good, some that aren't.
You know, it's funny that because it's about unpopular opinion. I actually share your unpopular opinion. I actually like a lot of things that they did with the Norlin guitars. And a lot of it's because I'm very, very rough on my guitars, and the Norlin guitars are like built like a tank.
Yeah,
and
the finish was a lot thicker.
It was
for
heavy,
sure, right?
but even like you're talking about the neck, multi-piece neck.
Yeah.
Because Gibson necks are not the, you know, they're not the most stable things in the world.
Well, and they put the volute on there too,
And they put a volute.
that was the reason, because you know how many people out there have Gibsons with broken necks?
Everybody, I know every
I've got
friend
one.
of mine. That's like the most common. How many, if you're like working at a guitar shop for how many growing up, how many Gibson headstock repairs come in versus any other guitar? Like, it's not even a competition, right? Like, and what they did with the Norlin, they put the multiply, they put a volute to strengthen that joint between the net and the headstock.
I think they actually
even
changed the angle
to like
bit.
14 degrees, right? And a lot of, you know, a lot of people think, oh, you know, the 17 degrees is, you know, the sweet spot, and it's like the chef's kiss angle. But, you know, just tucking it. Most modern guitars don't have 17 degrees. They're actually a little bit, you know, they're a little bit flatter, and that way the tuning is better. You know, you don't have any headstock breaks. It's just a little bit more solid. It's just, I think it's just.
Well, they're using maple a lot more too for the necks. In the once you're into the 70s, like you get Les Pauls with maple necks, and some of the hollow bodies had maple necks there too.
That's cool too.
I had a 175 for a while that was from 79, and it had a maple neck on there.
And I think that's one of the things too. Like when you're I think it's a lot of the comparison too. Like when you look at a vintage 59 Les Paul or something like that, it's a different Les Paul than a 70s Les Paul. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Like the maple neck, the pancake bodies, they actually made the guitar like with multiple pieces of wood, right? And they kind of pancaked them together.
I think it's like 3 pieces maybe or something like that.
And it was like mahogany, maple mahogany, and then I think they put the top on too.
Well, that would be why it was so heavy.
It was a brick, but it actually changed the sound in a really cool way. Like the use of maple and then that pancake construction, it gave this guitar more edge and more
snappier.
Snappier. It was like nice and kind of like in your face, not that creamy Eric Clapton, you know, Les Paul that we hear in our head, but something a lot more, especially for a thing like those old school humbuckers, you know, that tend to be a little bit, you know, that could be muddy sometimes. It makes that guitar cut through. And if you think about 70s rock too, with that mid-range and that brightness and that thing, and it's cutting like a knife right through. Like, I think people I think what it is, it's the comparison. You compare the sound of a Norlin, you compare the sound of a vintage 59 or 60 or whatever Les Paul, and they go, oh, the old Les Paul's warmer, smoother, it's bloomier. The other one's bright and edgy. And, you know, that could be a bad thing, but, you know, a JTM 45 is creamy and full, and a JCM 800 is cutty and bright, and they're both awesome in their own way, and they both have their own application. So I'm totally on board with the Norlin guitars. And that comes to this thing over here. Right?
So we have a great example here, and this is kind of funny. So, you know, this is a 69, and maybe just pull the tuner off the end.
Oh, there's one. I think that makes it look cool. the headstock tuner is like the badass thing.
So the funny thing is, they actually brought this guitar back because Gibson discontinued the Les Paul as we know it, like the single cut in 1961, apparently because there wasn't enough sales, which seems hard to believe at this point in time. But, they brought it back. And this is an example of a mid 69, which is a really cool one because this one's transitional. So you'll see the neck is 3-piece, but it's mahogany still at this point. It's not maple. There's no volute yet. And it's a mahogany body, but it's all a 1-piece one. So it's a slab mahogany. It's not the pancake sort of thing. And then when these came out, they only had the mini humbuckers in there. It was called the Les Paul Deluxe. And it wasn't actually till I think 74 that they brought back in the factory, catalog with the full-size humbuckers. A lot of people would swap them out or special order them with humbuckers, but this is how they were. But this is a great example of a really killer guitar from the Norlin era.
I want this guitar.
I know you do.
So bad. We saw this. The reason why this Norlin conversation came up was actually last time we were here. I saw this thing hang on the wall. This, because in my head, this is actually the Les Paul that I've always wanted. Actually, people think about the classic Les Pauls.
You don't want a 59?
I don't know. I don't want that. No, because I love the mini humbucker. I think this is the most criminally underrated pickup of all time.
Very underrated.
It is so beautiful. It's so has a clarity and separation, and it has and the bridge pickup is very piercing and very in your face. It's a gorgeous combination. And again, we have the 3-piece neck, which gives it that stability. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. And here, this is the neck pickup. So it's very it's nice because it's not.
It's clear.
It's clear. And for a Les Paul to have that kind of separation, it's just so awesome.
There's no mud.
It's a wonderful period where it's not quite that fidelity of a Gretsch, but Gretches can be a little bit stale, right? This has
stale.
It does sometimes. If you get some of the
I've never heard
Filtertrons,
that word used to describe a tone before.
Well, no, it
sounds kind of stale.
Stale in terms of if you think of a Filtertron, it's a very dry kind of sound, and it's very naked. There's not a lot of. It's very true. It's very true. It doesn't really do too much with it, And I find that this one has a little bit of that humbucker grunt, but just a little bit more separation between the notes. And I think it's because it's just picking up less, width. It's a more of a narrow focus, and it just makes everything sound tighter and brighter. And then that bridge pickup, that's clangy, right? Really, really nice. It's not
got some bark,
but it's a different kind of guitar. It's not like the classic Les Paul, but I think in my opinion, I think it's just as cool, if not cooler. I think it's amazing.
Very nice.
Oh man. So yes, I think I agree with you with your unpopular opinion. I actually think the Norlin era guitars are really, really cool, especially the early era, right before it gets crazy. And then when it does get crazy, that's actually pretty cool itself too. So
you just gotta play through them like any Gibson guitar. I think you just got to try a whole bunch of them. I had a friend of mine was telling me he'd been to the factory, and he'd been to quite a few factories. And he said he went to the Taylor factory, and it's like going to NASA. Everything's lasers, and everyone's in spacesuits, and the guitars come out just absolutely perfect every time. And then you go to the Gibson factory, and it's like traveling back in time to the 50s, and there's just stuff randomly everywhere and piled up, and you're just thinking, how can they even make guitars in this place? It just seems so unlikely, but that's where every once in a while you get a magic one that comes out of there.
It's very interesting.
It's the journey, I think, with the Gibson guitars, not the destination.
All right, so that is our unpopular. Actually, we actually like these unpopular opinions. So if you
let us know yours.
Yeah, exactly. Write it in the comments section. If there's something that you really believe in that maybe might be against the conventional wisdom, we'd love to hear what they are.
Yeah,
I have a ton,
and then we'll talk about it.
So, and that's going to bring us to our next segment. Our next segment is rig on trial. Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Which we're going to get a picture. You could actually go on Instagram, and if you actually tag, was it Tapestry Music Shop? Is that
Tapestry Music Store.
Oh,
Store.
at Tapestry Music Store, and then also hashtag rigs on trial. We can get your rig on the board, and we'll kind of look at it and give our opinions, I guess. Is that what we're going to do?
Both constructive and non-constructive.
All right.
So we'll see.
So today, since this is what, episode 2.
Episode 2.
And I don't think we've actually aired episode 1 yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So we're actually keeping it in-house. We got our mastermind over here. This is your board.
This is my little board, incarnation of about a year ago. So I have a big board, but we'd be here all day if we were looking at the big board. So this is the little guy. I keep this one set up at home, and at this particular time, I think it was set up to be like my 80s board to run into 2 amps in stereo, which is kind of fun. So
you rock the stereo, eh?
At times, it's fun. Like you get this stereo reverb and the delay, and I got the Dimension C in there.
Yeah.
Put 2 amps opposite sides of the room or something. It's a lot of fun. You turn one of those amps off, and you're like, oh, where'd the fun go?
Right, so what do we have here?
Do you want me to walk you through it?
I want to hear the pitch here. You got to sell this rig to me here.
Okay. Trying to cram as many little things on a little board there. So I'm going straight from the guitar into the Source Audio Spectrum.
Okay.
Which is...
I don't know what that is.
It's their envelope filter.
Oh, cool.
And it's a very cool envelope filter because it's got classic envelope filter tones, but it's got a couple different modes on there, and it's also got an octaver in there. So you can get your quacky envelope filter stuff, which I love, but you can also get an octaver in there, like an octave down at the same time. So you get these like fat, like Moog sounding kind of bass lines with the filter and all that. So that one's a very cool one, which I then run into the compressor. And honestly, I use a compressor. Well, this is the first compressor I think I've owned, and I've only had it for about 2 years. So I was a little late to the compressor party, but for the most part, I'll use it when I have the filter on. Because when you have the envelope filter, some of those quacks kind of like hit the amp a little hard, especially in the top end. And if the amp is broken up a little bit, it can sound a little nasty. So having the compressor kind of tames some of that top end there. And
do you use it? Do you use it only with you're using the envelope filter, or do you actually use the compressor on its own?
On its own as well, if I wanted like more of a compressed, clean kind of thing. Like the compressor with the Dimension C is pretty cool. Like
classic.
if you want an 80s thing with a Strat style guitar like that sparkly Charvel behind there.
What color is that sparkle? Is that like
it's like turquoise?
Turquoise sparkle, okay.
Yeah, it's definitely very 80s.
You know, I love sparkle guitars. I like that was the first thing I saw when you brought up that picture. Like that guitar,
it's hard to miss it.
That guitar is so awesome. Like because the way the light hits it, it just looks so class. I just got this purple sparkle guitar.
No way.
Yeah, I just got it's a Friedman one, and it is just
I gotta see that.
Absolutely. It says black. It's P90s on it and everything. It's a beautiful guitar, and like every time I see one of those, I remember every sparkle guitar I see because you just don't see them. The only time I see them is like on.
They look so good on stage. That's what sold me. Initially, I was kind of hesitant on the sparkle guitars. I'm like, I don't know. I like bright colored guitars, but I wasn't sure about the sparkle. But then I was at a show, and the bass player had a Music Man bass, and it was sort of this pinkish sparkle, and I was mesmerized. The entire night I was just watching the bass player because the light would hit the sparkle and it would just be changing all the time, and I was just like, that is amazing. I'm like, I have to get a sparkle guitar. So
it's a hard guitar to actually make too because those flakes, they're quite thick, so you actually have to build up the lacquer pretty high. And then you put the clear coat. So it's actually, you usually have to have a thicker coat of finish. But that's but I don't know. I think that it looks so money. Looks so money. Awesome. Wait, so we got the AC booster, which is the exotic effect.
Yeah, that one's the exotic AC. That was the custom shop version they used to do called the AC Comp. So it's got a little toggle switch
yeah,
for three different compression settings. So basically I had the normal setting of the regular AC booster. Then it had a less compressed setting that makes it a little more amp-like. And then there's actually a more compressed setting. But I actually really like the less compressed setting on that one. It's got a really nice tone to it. And they took the AC booster off the market for a bunch of years. And I think they just brought it back recently.
Really?
And I think it has that switch kind of
It's just part of it now.
Yeah.
Man, I remember when those exotic boosters came out, the RC, the AC,
BB.
the BB, and they were great. They were great. But yeah, I could see why the comp, because they were drier pedals. Whereas when I used to describe the Gretsch, what, stale?
Stale.
But no, they were
stale.
dry.
This is the exotic stale drive.
But yeah, they had like kind of like the sound.
It works really nice with the breadcrumb booster.
Yeah, the breadcrumb booster, exactly. But I think that's really, I always liked the AC. Now, of the three, there was the BB, the AC, and the RC. The AC was definitely my choice.
Yeah, they're all classic pedals.
I think you sold me that exact like a Dimension Waza.
That's a cool pedal. I like that one.
Those. You know,
that's my favorite chorus pedal.
What number do you use?
I think I'm a number 4.
Oh yeah, number 4. Yeah,
just the straight up number 4 by itself.
Yeah.
That's the one I gravitate to, and that's where I go into stereo there. So it goes stereo.
That's where this is where the magic starts.
This is where the 80s
here.
starts happening.
Yeah, okay.
It goes from the Dimension into the TC flashback. Delay, just set to the 2290 digital delay.
Wow, you're going really 80s.
Oh
with this,
yeah,
man! You're going all in here.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then at the very end,
it goes to
what is that?
It's the Polera, Digitech Polera.
You know what? I've never tried that too. That's the delay. Reverb.
It's the reverb. Yeah. It's a great reverb. And this was an interesting period for Digitech because for quite a while they're owned by the Harman Group, which also owned Lexicon. So the Digitech hardwire pedals, the reverb and the delay, and then this series here, the Polera, and I forget what the delay was called. They had all these cool graphics on them. They have the Lexicon chip in them.
Oh,
and you used to be able to score those hardwire ones for dirt cheap too.
Really?
Which is really cool. So you got some fantastic sounding delays and reverbs in those Digitech pedals. But they've since sold off the company, and you can't get those anymore.
Now, I'm curious, what amps are you going into after this?
Just clean stuff. It was deluxe reverb and whatever other amp was on
That would be your other thing. I'm surprised by how little gain is going on in your setup for a guitar that looks like that.
Well,
if I see
like
a guitar
I said, that
looks like that, I'm expecting just like fire breathing monster. But I see an.
Don't worry, I've got a Soldano.
Okay, good. Like I'm seeing this thing. This looks like a rock star supreme.
This is
AC stands for almost clean. That's the name of that's the storage user, and it's going into a deluxe reverb.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that.
I think 80s pop, not 80s rock.
Oh yeah, with a little bit of the 70s with the envelope filter. I like that trick, the envelope filter with the compressor on it.
Yeah, I have that on my big board too. I've got a Keeley envelope filter and then like a little miniature compressor right after it. Just they're always on together.
I'm feeling foolish because I always set my envelope filters in a way that I find it very pleasing without the big stabbiness, but then you lose some of the edge. And like when I just think, oh yeah, I could put a little
try a compressor.
I learned something today.
There you
That's
go.
A brilliant idea.
I mean, it works more as like a limiter, I guess. But,
yeah, exactly.
But it almost makes the envelope filter work better too.
Oh, of course. Yeah, but now for all of you cats out there, make sure that you put the envelope filter before your compressor too, because if you squash your compression, you're going to lose the dynamics in the envelope.
And that's the fun of the envelope filter is just it's so touch sensitive, and I love how interactive that pedal is.
Very smart. Very, very, very smart. I like it. Okay.
And I got the red cables on there like your board.
Oh yeah, you got the red
last one,
cables.
too.
That's right. See, but is it the thin pancake jacks too?
No, those are the little George L's.
What do you think of those solderless cables? That was like a big thing.
Well, yeah, that's some of those right there. That's those
George L's.
George L's,
yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's right. The George
I think they're pretty convenient for a board where the pedals are staying on there. Mm-hmm. And on my big board, I have solderless cables too from the Three Monkeys brand. They got the really tiny ones, which take up very little space, which is really cool. I wouldn't use them if you were moving stuff a lot, or if it was like for your guitar cable. But if they're like staying in place on there, then I think they're pretty cool.
Oh, very, very cool. Well, that's really nice. Pretty cool. I'm going to give it my thumbs up just because of the chorus.
There we go.
For that, I'm going to give it. I'm a big sucker for chorus pedals. And the
right.
Dimension C happens to be one of my favorite chorus pedals.
It's a good one there.
So if you
think?
have a rig that you want to put on trial, just again, you could be, if it's just a guitar and an amp, it could be a pedal board, it could be whatever you want. Please put it on your Instagram at Tapestry Music Store.
Yes, there we go.
Hashtag rigs on trial. I'm excited to see what they have.
Yeah, totally. We'll see if there's any pedal board crimes out there.
And just like that, I think that's it for today.
Episode 2 in the books.
Episode 2. Yeah. We are going to be here every week on Thursday.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Oh my gosh. I'm excited to see you all soon. Take care, everybody. From all of us at Tapestry Music, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. Big shiny tones. See you next week.